Welcome to the Profit by Design podcast. I'm here today. I'm Melissa Kay, the lead strategist at Tap the Potential and Chief Dream Officer, here with Dr. Sabrina Starling, the business psychologist, the founder of Tap the Potential, TEDx speaker, and everything that I want to be when I grow up.
I'm honored, Melissa.
So today we're really thrilled to share with you why you should invest in coaching. And we hear this a lot. What is a ROI for my investment? And that's something that is very dear to our hearts because we are obsessed with our clients getting the results that we promise. And Dr. Sabrina, something that I hear all the time from clients is they say, I listened to the Profit by Design podcast for years before I joined, and I wish I would have done this sooner.
Yes, we hear that statement almost word for word from multiple clients as they're signing up for our Better Business, Better Life program. And we want to stop that. We want you to listen to the Profit by Design podcast for a couple weeks and then make a decision to join. And we're going to go through why today, because we really are looking at your return on investment. And when clients come in and they've been listening to the podcast for years, that means that they have tolerated a lack of profitability, employee problems, cash flow issues, all kinds of drama in their lives because of their businesses for years. And that is so unnecessary. And the other thing about it is we often end up having to spend a lot of time undoing poor decisions that were made a couple of years ago, and it slows down the momentum. And so there's a saying that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, right? Well, the second best time is today. And so we really want to share with you today how you should look at business coaching as an investment in yourself and in your business. And we're going to give you some parameters for how do you make a wise decision about investing in coaching.
This is great. And I want to start us off with a very powerful question for our listeners. And as you're tuning in, I want you to, if you're not driving, write this down and really reflect on it. And the question is, what is it costing you to stay stuck? You are right, Dr. Sabrina. A lot of time that we spend initially with our clients is undoing or reversing the things that they've been working on, even though that they needed to. So maybe they've tried to implement the pumpkin plan or profit first themselves in their business, and they're doing it alone and trying to figure out all of the things. We spend a lot of time reversing that, but also we know all the shortcuts. So by trying to do it yourself, you're really investing so much time, energy, and resources into things where we've already got the secret for. So let's talk about that secret sauce. What is the tangible ROI, return on investment, for coaching?
Well, 94% of our clients are getting our promised result of more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. That is phenomenal. 71% of our clients are renewing with us after year one. The industry average for a coaching program is that only 40% of clients stick through year one. Not only do we have more than that, the majority of our clients stay with us and get the result. The 94% of our clients are getting that promised result, but 71% of our clients are going on to year two because of the value of the investment that they're getting. And so what is more money in your bank account and more time for what matters most? Our clients are getting a 7x increase in their time off in their first year with us. 7 times more freed up time in the first year with us. And that means that you're spending time with your loved ones. You're going on trips. Melissa has just developed the step-by-step plan to coming into our Better Business, Better Life program and guaranteeing that you can take a 4-week vacation after the end of year 1. So, I mean, there is like if your business has taken over your life, there's no reason not to move forward with this, because if you show up, you give us 5 hours of your time each week, Melissa is going to get you to a 4-week vacation in the first year. That is incredible. So, but that's just talking about time off. Let's talk about what it means to have more money in your bank account than ever. So, when you are not paying yourself appropriately as the owner of your business and you are underpaying yourself for years and years and years, that is a cycle. And when we talk about it's hard to undo all the decisions when you decide to underpay yourself because you're trying to remain competitive and you don't want to raise your fees, because you don't know what makes you unique and you don't know how to stand out in the marketplace. It is harder and harder and harder to catch up. And be able to pay yourself appropriately. But when you come into the program with us, we are looking at how much should you be paying yourself? What are those target allocation percentages in Profit First? And just to give you a sense that a business that's doing around $500,000 in revenue, a combination of profit and owner's pay, you should be able to take out at least $200,000 in your business at a minimum. And that's not even the target allocation percentage, but that's just giving you an idea. And most of the people who come into our program are nowhere near that. They are when they've been with us, though. We get them to those target allocation percentages. And so just imagine what that will do for your family if you haven't been able to save for your kids' college. Oh my goodness. I have a senior this year and she's going to college in the fall. And I am so glad I've had Profit First in place in my business, because that has allowed me over these years to be able to save in a 529 plan for her to go to college. So those of you listening, I lost my husband in June, and our financial situation in our family is very topsy-turvy right now, but I can count on the profit in the Tap the Potential and owner's pay, and that I was able to save money for my daughter to go to college. So that is the impact. And if I would have said, Mike, I don't think I want to sign up as a Profit First professional. I want to wait a few years and I want to just try it on my own, I would not be where I am. And that idea of I just want to do it myself and see how far I can get. We business owners do not place an appropriate value on our time. So I talk about making your time worth $10,000 an hour, doing the on the business activities that set the business up, putting Profit First in place in your business effectively and the right way is a $10,000 an hour activity, because that is a system that guarantees your profit in your business for years to come. So that when you think about what is the return on my investment in coaching, that just if that were the only thing, that would be amazing. And so when we're looking at what is the ROI from a monetary standpoint, the other side of it is being able to pay your team appropriately, being able to give raises, being able to pay what you need to pay to attract A players to your team. And so a lot of times we have prospective clients who say, I can't sign up, I can't afford this. When we dig a little bit and we look at their team members, they may have 2 or 3 team members on the payroll that they're paying well over a combined $100,000 a year for warm bodies.
Yes.
And yet saying, I can't afford this program. And really what they need to do is let go of those warm bodies, probably replace them with one team member who's an A player. And then we teach them how to do that, because A players are 900 to 1200% more productive than warm bodies. And so when you come into our program, the whole Tap the Potential solution is a model towards time and money efficiency in a growing business. So that's how we're confident that we're going to free up your time and we're going to help you make more money. And some of the magic, like we're in the jump start right now, Melissa. And yesterday we went through niching down with a clearly defined sweet spot. And we talked about the 80/20 principle. So when you think about that, 20% of your clients and customers are typically responsible for 80% of the revenue in the business. The inverse of that, that means that 80% of your clients and customers are only responsible for 20% of your revenue. The 80% is usually, those are your lowest paying clients and customers. They're the ones who nickel and dime you. They're the ones who complain, the ones who need extra attention and rework, and they take up a lot of your time and the team's time. So when we get really strategic around identifying what is your unique value that you're delivering, and you get intentional to replace the 80% of your clients and customers that are only bringing in 20% of your revenue, and you replace them with top clients and customers, and then you can take 25, you can increase the revenue that you get from your existing top 20% by 25%. That takes care of the revenue that comes in from the 80% at the bottom. So there is huge opportunity to streamline a business at that point, because then you don't have as much payroll when you don't have as many clients and customers. And Melissa and I are real clear. Like when we go through the jumpstart, we always say, we're not telling you to fire 80% of your clients and customers. What we want you to do is be squarely at choice when you're choosing to spend all that extra time serving them. And then you become highly aware of how little revenue they bring into the business. All of a sudden, you have a lot less patience for the BS. And that boundary setting is what most of us business owners need to have permission to do, that it's okay to say no to work. And this is just one example of where the ROI in business coaching comes from. Melissa, I'm on a soapbox. I mean, you just asked me one question. I'm like, I got so much to say about this. So I'm just going to keep rolling if it's okay.
Yeah.
I have invested in business coaching multiple times over the years. And every single time, the amount that is being asked of me makes me gasp, no matter what revenue level I'm in in the business. It always makes me gasp. And I have to have a hard conversation with myself around, Sabrina, are you going to show up and do what they're asking you to do? And if I can say yes to that, and it's a program that has solid results, then I feel confident that I can get that return on investment. I just invested about 2 years ago in a particular coaching program, and I've gotten at least a 5x return on that investment, and I've tracked it. So that's how I know I've gotten that return on investment. And so what we do at Tap the Potential, when you're coming into our program, we are screening you. We want to make sure that we're not just taking your money. We're not okay with that. That's the reason we have the results that we have, is because we only choose to work with clients who are a good fit for us and what we have to offer. And so when you meet with Caitlin and you do an initial consultation, she is looking at she's taking you through a profit assessment, and looking at the profit potential in your business. We won't take you on as a client unless she can see at least a way for us to give you a 3x return on your investment in the first year. So, and that's a minimum. A lot of our clients are getting way more than a 3x return on their investment, but we have to see that we can give you a 3x return on investment with just some basic things that we do. And a lot of times clients make more than that return on investment because they take advantage of the coaching and the support and the one-to-ones with Melissa that are being offered. And that's how they're getting 7, 8, 9 times return on their investment. And so if you've been listening to the Profit by Design podcast for years and you've been on the fence and you're thinking, oh my gosh, that Tap the Potential sounds so good, but I don't think I can afford that investment. Have a call with Caitlin. Let her walk you through the profit potential in your business and just see whether or not you qualify for our program. Because if you qualify, and we get 94% of our clients the promised result, and you're willing to give 5 hours a week to working on what we're asking of you, and that includes your time in group coaching with us. It includes all your coaching time.
Mm.
Um, you're going to have more money in your bank account than ever and more time for what matters most. And my gosh, a 4-week vacation after 12 months. Like, why would you wait at this point, Melissa? Can you can you think of any reason to wait?
I can't think of any reason to wait. And, with that, I want to dig into some intangible results.
Mm.
And I want to get super vulnerable here. So, Dr. Sabrina, if you did not have your business designed to take off the time that you need, what would that have been like for you?
Well, first of all, I would have had to utilize my disability insurance, and I have not had to do that because I couldn't work after Ned passed for many, many weeks. And then when I came back, I did not come back at full capacity, and I'm still not at full capacity. And so we don't know what's going to happen in our lives. Ned was healthy. He was 60 years old. There was no reason for him to pass suddenly and unexpectedly. It just happened. And we live our lives like we are invulnerable. All of us have family members and people we care about, and human life is fragile. There's illness, there's accidents, there are things that happen. And to be able to have your business in a position where it has no key team member dependency. And so I'm not just talking about dependency on me. We're talking about dependency on any team member in your business. Like if you have a right-hand person and something happens to them, your business could really suffer and you could end up taking on a lot more work than maybe you've done in many years. And so this peace of mind, it's like an insurance policy that pays dividends for years. Because I have been able to go to school events, taking off time to be able to go to my kids' assemblies in the middle of the day, and the business can run without me. It's priceless.
Yeah, you really can't put an ROI on having time with the people that you love and also doing the things that matters most to you.
Mhm.
There's no way to quantify that. And we just see over and over clients being able to take time off to be with their kids and vacations and date nights, fully unplugged date nights. And that's another thing. We're teaching you, setting things up in your business with you and teaching you how to fully unplug. Because there's a difference in just working less or taking time off and actually being unplugged in a way from your business, your phone, your computer. And that's really important. The other intangible part that is so evident that I want to be sure we call out is just getting out of your head.
Mhm.
So as business owners, when we are in the survival trap, we're stuck in our head and we just can't shut it off. So we give you the clarity and the peace of mind, and we tell you what you need to be focused on so that you can get out of that constant overwhelm and move forward. That's really important. And, another huge thing is our clients fall back in love with their business again.
Yeah. Yeah, we hear that. Like they'll say, "Well, I don't really want to take time off. I'm enjoying what we're doing now that we have a sweet spot and we have great clients that we're working with. I don't want to take time off." And that's a wonderful place to be. And yes, you still need to take the time off because you need that downtime for yourself. But circling back to what Melissa was saying about the mental burden that business owners carry, so many of our clients say during their first few months with us that they no longer feel burnt out. They feel cared about. They feel loved. They feel like they have a place where they can show up and be themselves and talk about what really is going on in their business and their life that's causing them stress. They don't have to put on a facade. And as soon as they open up and start sharing about what their experience is, they look around and they see other business owners nodding their heads because you're not the only one. And that sense of being able to unburden yourself is priceless.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So you are ready for coaching if you are just feeling stuck, you're overwhelmed, you're too in the weeds, you're making assumptions. So you're just, I like to say, throwing spaghetti at the wall. So you're making guesses on what your sweet spot is or what your clients want. And or the tactics that you have right now just aren't working. Maybe your revenue's growing, but your profit's not growing. We really support in those areas, but you also need to be able to put in the time. And that time investment is 5 hours a week. And again, that includes all of your coaching time. So you have to be able to do the work to achieve these results that we're promising. That's a really key.
One of the questions that was asked during the Jumpstart on Monday was, well, I've signed up for coaching programs in the past and I've spent a lot of money and I'm not using them. How is this going to be any different? There's a few ways that what we're doing with you is different. And the first is the individual attention that you get from us. When you sign up, you're going to meet with Melissa, and she's going to take you through some exercises to help you really clarify your why. Why are you doing this? Why did you make this investment? And what's going to be different in your life a year from now because of your monetary and time investment? And that clarity around what are we working towards becomes very compelling. And so it's no longer just I'm showing up in group and I'm doing this thing and I'm not really sure why anymore. You have a clear why. But the other piece is that you have a customized action plan. So everything that's on that action plan is there because of your why. It matters to you. And we are checking in with you. You're reporting every 2 weeks on your progress in completing that action plan. And it just dawned on me the other day that one of the things that is no longer happening, like it just stopped, and we haven't had this go on for a number of months, maybe a couple of years in groups, is that somebody coming into group and they're repeatedly week after week saying, I didn't get anything done on my action plan. Like that just doesn't happen at Tap the Potential. And I believe the reason it doesn't happen is because your action plan is customized, because you know you're going to be in a group and you're going to be asked to share what you got done. And you know that your peers have just as much chaos in their lives and their business as you do. So your excuses don't hold water because they're getting it done. Mm-hmm. And because of that, that's why our clients are 94% of our clients are achieving the promised result with us.
Yeah, I think one thing that sets us apart is we didn't just create a coaching program and settled for, okay, this is our program, this is what we offer. We practice what we teach, and we're consistently asking our clients what they want and need, how we might further support them, and looking at the data and really seeing what's pushing the needle forward for them. And those action plans, I've worked so hard to refine them over the past couple of years, and now they're so dialed in. You get a very lengthy action plan, but there's just a 1 page for a year. And that 1 page lists out so at first it lists out your magic wand goal. So here's the one thing, if I could wave a magic wand, that I'm going to accomplish in my business over the next year. And then from that, we break down 4 quarterly goals. And underneath those 4 quarterly goals, I list every action step that you need to take. So when you show up to work on your business outside of our coaching calls, you've already got step-by-step with links on what to work on. Mm-hmm. So it takes the guesswork out of it. So that clarity is such a phenomenal, intangible ROI. I have one last question for you, Dr. Sabrina, and that's, how do you look at paying for coaching? So I know you pay for coaching at Tap the Potential. Where does that come from? Are you looking at that from payroll, from profit? Like, is that coming out of the owner's paycheck? define that for our listeners.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to be blunt. There was one time that I signed up for coaching and the business was in such dire straits. There was no money in the business to cover coaching. So what I did is I found a zero interest credit card and I used that. And that zero interest credit card was like zero interest for 14 months. And so then I set it up for the business to be paying off that amount over 14 months. So we did not incur any interest payments at Tap the Potential. And I used that. So that's what you do when there's no money. That's one crafty way to accomplish this. But I only did that for a program that I knew I was going to do the work on and that they promised a solid return on my investment. I wouldn't do that otherwise. Other times I have used a combination of operating expenses, owner's pay, and profit to get the money together on a monthly basis. And usually, I've done pay in full options, like if there's cash flow in the business and there's some incentive, like at Tap the Potential, we offer a pretty significant incentive when you pay in full. Sometimes I've done that. If there's not strong cash flow, we don't penalize you for a payment plan. You pay a certain flat amount every month over 12 months. And so there's a payment plan option. And again, you could look at pulling it from operating expenses, owner's pay, and profit. Operating expenses because you're making the business stronger. Owner's pay because of the peace of mind you as an owner are getting. It's a benefit to you. One of our clients just says, like, I don't ever want to be without coaching with Tap the Potential because of the peace of mind that you guys give me. So that portion would come out of owner's pay. And profit because we're helping you grow the profitability in your business. And so again, looking at this in terms of, am I investing in a program where I know there's going to be a return on investment and I am willing to do the work? The other thing that comes up a lot, we hear people say, I want to join the program. I think it'll be helpful. If I just get this one client or customer, I'll be able to pay. And then that one client or customer doesn't come through and they say, I can't do the program right now. Well, that is the worst thing that you can do for yourself because 9 times out of 10, we're going to be able to help you figure out what went wrong, what was weak in the business that kept you from getting that client or customer, and put systems in place to help you be stronger on your sales and marketing going forward. So that is just a complete like self-sabotaging mindset. Like I'm going to do something that's going to support my success, but only if these people like us and want to give us money. That's not setting yourself up for success. And so again, if there's no cash flow in the business, there may be some creative ways, but and this is where we are so careful to screen people. We do not want to take money from a business owner who can't pay themselves, who's struggling to keep the lights on in the business, if we can't see that there is actual, tangible profit potential in that business. So again, that's where our screening comes in. So you can know with confidence if you have been accepted into our program, we know you can do it. Your only next gut check is, are you going to give us the 5 hours a week? That's it.
Yeah. One question that I get asked sometimes, and this actually came up on Monday, is should I be looking at investing in coaching just like investing in payroll? So right now I have the money for coaching, or I could hire another team member. And I would love your thoughts on this. I know I'm starting a side gig to sell my art. And the very first thing that I'm investing in is a coach.
Yes.
Before anything else is a coach. And because I know the power of the coaching and I need to get out of my head because everything I think through is very emotional. Mm-hmm. And I put on a business owner hat and say, okay, I need to make these decisions based on my sweet spot, my unique offer, what makes me special, what I can deliver, but what people are wanting as well, right? So where all of this meets. So Dr. Sabrina, can you just address that question? Should you treat it like payroll, and how do you look at your coach?
Yes. So if you're in a position where you're having to choose between, do I pay somebody and hire somebody on my team, or do I get coaching? I would say you absolutely should get coaching, because 9 times out of 10, we're going to help you find who you actually should be hiring and what role you should be hiring for. When you don't have a coach, you're oftentimes making a nose down decision and you're not looking at the bigger picture of the business and what the business really needs. And mishiring is so costly. It can cost you thousands of dollars to even mishire an entry level team member. So I would say get the coaching in place and then look at the hiring. And a lot of times what's going to happen is we're going to find ways. When you are in our program, we do an expense review and we help you find ways to cut other expenses so that you can afford the team members that you need to take things off of your plate as the business owner. So a team member is never going to come in and look at a high level and look at your emotional functioning and what the business needs and what you need and be able to make solid recommendations for you. The team member is going to be there to do the doing and take care of things in the business, but it's not the same kind of investment. So yes, you should absolutely treat your payroll like it's an investment. A higher level investment is business coaching, and I would avoid investing further in payroll until you have had solid business coaching to make sure the direction that you're headed is a profitable, sustainable direction.
This is such good stuff.
Yes.
I think we could keep going, but we are going to end for today. And thank you, Dr. Sabrina, for all of that information. We're truly here because we believe work supports life, and we're just on a mission to help others have a better work and better work-life balance. I think we hear that a lot, and fall back in love with their business. So if you have been on the fence and you're ready to just get started, I will share that we have 3 ways to work with us. So we have our group coaching program, which is our Better Business, Better Life program, with a small group of entrepreneurs who totally get you. So if you love having the accountability of your peers and you're just ready to dig in and dive into the whole entire Tap the Potential solution, you can join us there. If you prefer one-to-one coaching where you get some individualized attention, we have shorter engagement periods for one-to-one coaching, and we just dig into one area of your business, such as getting your head around time management and really creating your ideal schedule to free up 10 or more hours off of your schedule every week and be very strategic about it. And then we also have courses that you can enroll in, such as How to Hire the Best, Leadership Bootcamp, and Coach Approach. So if you would like to learn more, go ahead and just take action and get unstuck and join us today. Go to tapthepotential.com and book a call with Caitlin, and she will walk you through where you are right now and whether or not we feel like this is the best time and the best fit for you. So thank you for joining us today. We will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.